Let's go ahead and call to order. Roll call.
Councilor Loretano.
Here.
Councilor Javier.
Here.
Councilor Sousa.
Here.
Councilmember Alcorn.
Here.
Councilmember Hilzer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zillo.
Here.
All present.
Up before us tonight, City Attorney, you're going to give us a presentation on the school, right?
I am, and am presenting a proposed agreement with the Nelson Brothers Property Management, which is the owners of the La Piazza Plaza, where the Great Hearts Academy is proposing to locate and open for the next academic school year. As council is aware, the Great Hearts has leased most of the space in the La Piazza Plaza, which is two buildings that's located about a quarter mile west of Litchfield Road on McDowell. They've been going through the site plan review process, and during the course of that site plan review process, city engineering staff, based upon the traffic circulations patterns that were going to be present during the high traffic drop-off and pickup times during the school year, determined that certain off-site improvements were going to be required in order to get a site plan approval from the city for the school to open. Those included deceleration lanes off of McDowell, widening of a driveway, and a traffic signal. During the course of the discussions, there was conversations between the city and the school about the obligations, the necessity of having those off-site infrastructure improvements, and the school's ability to afford those off-site infrastructure improvements, and their ability to get those put in and get their certificate of occupancy by June 30, which is the time period required under state law for them to get their funding for the next academic school year. So, city staff met with the school and the property owner yesterday to try to reach a compromise and a method to get that infrastructure installed in order to meet that June 30 deadline. And we have in front of you today a outline version of a cost-sharing and repayment agreement that would be entered into between the city and the property owner of the La Piazza Plaza, which is Nelson Brothers Property Management. We will put that agreement in final form if council gives the city manager the authority tonight to enter into that agreement consisting of these basic deal terms. We're pretty close on the terms. We'll just need to put it in legal form. But that will allow the school to proceed with their construction of their tenant improvements and rush to meet that June 30 deadline. But based upon the meeting yesterday, we reached a partnership agreement with the school that will allow that off-site infrastructure to be constructed. Those basic deal terms are that the city will provide the traffic signal equipment. We currently have that equipment in stock. This is the quarter-mile mark west of McDowell Road. So we know this is going to be a pretty heavily traveled commercial district with the mall coming in. Likely would have been needed sooner rather than later, so certainly on the radar in the future anyhow. But we have the equipment. It's about $250,000 in value. The city will be providing that equipment for that intersection. The city will be providing the engineering, the construction, and the design work for the traffic signal at that intersection. But there will be a 5-year repayment schedule for up to $150,000 of those costs. That will be repaid to the city by the owner of the property. So we're upfronting the cost, but we're going to be repaid over the course of 5 years.
When you say intersection, McDowell and what?
I say intersection, but it's basically, there's a driveway there. McLean is across
Well, it's going to be
the
for the
street.
driveway rather than...
It's a driveway, but there's McLean Southwest is right across the street with their employee entrance too, so it's going to control that whole area. Hopefully alleviate some of the issues we have with the traffic coming out of McLean as well.
Well, you're going to have a stoplight at Litchfield, and you're going to have a half a mile,
It's a quarter mile.
quarter mile.
Mhm.
And
Wouldn't want it any closer to Litchfield, but a quarter mile
you're
is
going to have a
okay.
jam up of traffic there. For 30
Rorik,
minutes.
is the west driveway directly across from McLean's employee entrance
It's the employee
driveway?
entrance, correct. So it's a pretty
So
major.
there's no jog or anything, but, okay.
That's the first deal point. The second deal point is that the school / the property owner will develop that deceleration lane coming off of McDowell that'll allow safe exit for westbound traffic into the school site, which city engineering felt was so important for the site. And the school or slash property owner will be responsible for widening that driveway to allow 2 lanes of exit back out onto McDowell. The important part of that is to try to alleviate the queuing up inside the school site during the drop-off times. So you get the 2 lanes, you're able to allow a little bit more queuing. It's a charter school, K through 7 to start, eventually going to high school, but high school will be maybe at a different site.
These improvements, are they a joint responsibility on the part of Nelson Brothers and the school?
The contract will be with the property owner,
With Nelson Brothers?
yes,
Okay.
which is what it should be.
Okay. All right. And it was kind of indicated the school was going to assume this responsibility, but I guess not. Huh?
Well, I think the school and the property owner have worked out their deal on who's funding what, and there's a partnership there as far as funding the infrastructure improvements.
that's what-
But as far as who should we enter a contract with, it's not the tenant. We need to enter that contract with the landlord and the property owner.
Well, I agree. Excuse me, Jimmy. I agree. Of these changes because I toured the property the other day after receiving a phone call, and I was concerned about 400 students, and that's a lot of people, a lot of parents moving in and out of that area, and these changes would alleviate that type of a situation. So.
I think I've outlined the basic deal points. Like I said, if we take a vote tonight to approve this agreement, we'll finalize the agreement consistent with the terms that the council approved and have the city manager execute that document probably within a week. Mike Curley, the attorney for Great Hearts, is here tonight and probably answer any questions you may have. I don't know if you have anything you want to say this evening?
I haven't seen you for a while.
Slow down on real estate development. Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Mike Curley, 3101 North Central. I just wanted to thank John Rourke. About a week ago, we thought this deal was really on thin ice and might disappear because this was a fairly significant financial hit, which wasn't anticipated when they went in here. But these guys intervened and really came to a very amicable solution, and we're grateful.
Very good.
I guess with that, so we can further discussion, we need a motion, and what would that motion basically be to allow?
You're just going to make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute an infrastructure cost sharing and repayment agreement with Nelson Brothers Property Management consistent with the deal points in the attached letter agreement, which you have in front of you.
Can I get a motion? Okay, so, whoops. Got a motion from Councilmember Cavalier and a second from Councilmember Sousa.
Excuse me just a minute. I think we really ought to read the authorization in total.
I can read it again.
Go ahead.
So you're going to make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute an infrastructure cost sharing and repayment agreement with Nelson Brothers Property Management for the Great Hearts Trivium Prep School at the La Piazza in Goodyear,
Okay, with that.
consistent with the terms of the letter agreement which are attached.
That's what my motion is.
Okay, and that's the motion from Councilmember Cavalier and a second from Sousa? Or-
Aye.
Okay, second from Councilmember
Oh, aye.
Osborne, okay? With that,
Wait, don't take a vote yet.
no, I'm not. With that, discussion. Start here to the right.
I just want to say welcome to Goodyear, and I'm very happy you're here as a parent of children right now. School choice is very important with what's happening in the public school system, so I'm very pleased you're here and that this all worked out. And thank you, city staff, for making this work out for our citizens.
Now, this will be the first charter school in Goodyear, isn't it?
I think so. I believe it is.
Mary, you want something?
Yeah, it's about time. And I'm glad that it's coming, and I am very happy to see this move.
Councilmember Gelser?
Two items. John, we have to replace the signal that we have in stock that we're gonna basically use. Is that gonna cost the city the parts that are sitting on the ground? Is that what's $250,000, the signal and the guts and everything else?
That's correct.
Okay, so, that's fine. But we would have had to put an intersection in there eventually, in the future based on mall traffic and McLean's traffic. and
That is
everything
correct,
else.
yes.
Okay. I have one request. Could we put a sign, east of this intersection in the center that delineates the truck entrance to McLean a little bit better so that the trucks stay in the left-hand lane and know that they're supposed to go past this intersection and make a left-hand turn, because inevitably they are all over the road. And if we could at least have Public Works put something up there, that would alleviate getting 18-wheelers away from school kids.
We certainly will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Osborne?
Oh, I'm just appreciative that this was able to, come to fruition. I know that our city has a goal of working with education in schools, and this is part of it. And, everybody stepped up to the plate to make it happen, so that's a good thing. And I do think that McLean is part of, that area that needs to be watched over. And if this helps them by having that intersection available for them, too, that will be good.
Councilmember Sousa?
I've already said my piece.
Okay. Me, I think it's,
One more thing.
go ahead.
Have we talked to McLean? McLean is aware of,
Not that I'm aware
To be
of.
honest with you, I don't know.
I think
we
they
should
need to
at
be,
least let
yes,
them
they
know.
do.
We will do that
yeah,
tomorrow.
that should be, they're a very good tenant. They're a good neighbor. And I do not want to do anything that maybe we haven't thought of that might cross what McLean might not
We will do that. Thank you.
like, because I don't see that that's a problem, but we should, just courtesy, let them know what's going on. The stoplight and the school and the whole works. I mean,
And that's a good point, Frank, because I thought that, from my last discussion, I thought that maybe they had already been talked to, so,
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm not sure. So we'll find out and talk to them.
yeah, that's a lot of big trucks, so, okay.
And again, I'm glad we were able to get this thing done because, we all know over the weekend we got a lot of requests. Because apparently this is a school that a lot of people, they have a waiting list to get into, so it's going to be great. So with that, let's see, we've got a motion on the table. Any other further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Let's see, with that, I've got communication. Do we have any communication issues?
Not this evening?
Information items?
No?
Comments? It's on here. With that, meeting adjourned.